It's noon here in Nigeria, and you're welcome to Lunchtime Politics, coming to you live from Charles Television. I'm Kayode Okikilo. First, the highlights. Another day, another twist in the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, it will seem, as a party reverses the suspension of former governors Fayose Shema, Senator Ayim, others, while ward executives that suspended Senator Ayu have been suspended themselves. The leadership tussle within the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, lingers. Mr. Victoye and Mr. Ndozi Njoku continue to lay claim to the position, quoting various court judgments. Legal insight on the program this afternoon. And more governors-elect receive their certificates of return as they prepare for the tasking job of governance which is ahead of them. Well, let's begin with the U-turn from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, which has reversed its suspension of former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, and former Senate President Pius Ayim. Others whose suspensions were reversed, former Governor Ibrahim Shema, Dennis Etiavia, and Aslam Aliyu. Well, according to the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Debo Ologunagba, the party's National Working Committee reversed the referral of Benue State Governor Samuel Otom to the National Disciplinary Committee as well. The party had on March the 24th, that's about a week ago, suspended them over anti-party activities, even as the party continues to grapple with a myriad of internal issues that led to the suspension and consequent replacement of Senator Yocha Ayu with Omar Demagum as the national chairman of the party. However, Mr. Ologunagba said that the National Working Committee recognizes the imperativeness of total reconciliation among party leaders and critical stakeholders for what is described as a more cohesive party in the overall interests of members and Nigerians in general. Oh, that's not all. There's more to the intrigues within the opposition PDP, as the Benue State Working Committee of the party has suspended the Kashi Philip-led Egero Council Ward executives that suspended the former national chairman of the party, Senator Yocha Ayu, in Boko local government area. The acting state chairman of the PDP, Mr. Isaac Mfo, at a press briefing in Makurdi, the state capital, explains that the State Working Committee will henceforth take charge of the political affairs of the party at the ward level to allow peace reign.
The committee deliberated on and reviewed the recent activities and matters of the administration of the affairs of the party in Igoro Council Ward, which have raised and aggravated tensions within the party in the area with possible threats of violence and breakdown of law and order. It is therefore the resolution of the State Working Committee that, pursuant to the powers conferred on it by Section 59, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party, as amended in 2017, and thus order as follows. 1, that the Executive Committee of the PDP in Igoro Council Ward is hereby suspended for a period of 1 month, pending necessary action which shall be taken to restore sanity, harmony, law and order in the party in that area. 2, that the State Working Committee shall, during this period, administer the affairs of the party in Igoro Council Ward in the best interest of the party, discipline, growth, and success.
So let's turn our attention to the only other party with a sitting governor that's apart from the APC and the PDP, and that's the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, where a leadership crisis appears to be deepening. Well, two men laying claims to the national chairmanship position, Mr. Victoye and Mr. Ndozi Njoku, have been engaging in a war of words over who the authentic chairman of a party is. Well, the latest is a news conference in Abuja where Mr. Ndozi Njoku says that by the judgment of the Supreme Court delivered on March the 24th, he is the national chairman. But in a swift reaction, Mr. Victor says no judgment was delivered by the Supreme Court on that date, and as such, he remains the national chairman of the party.
The tussle for the leadership position of the All Progressives Grand Alliance continues. Following a ruling of the Supreme Court delivered on the 24th of March 2023, which corrected a typographical error in the lead judgment of the Apex Court delivered on the 14th of October 2021, Mr. Edozie Njoku has laid claim to the chairmanship seat of the party.
As we all remember, at the lower court, it was affirmed that the Convention of Owerri was a legitimate convention and that I was suspended as the national chairman of APGA. Finally, the Supreme Court has squashed all that. They have not reaffirmed me. What they have done is that they have no business with that aspect. What they've told us is that the removal of Chief Edozie Njoku as the national chairman of APGA is an internal affair, and it is not justiciable. You cannot discuss the removal of Chief Edozie Njoku in any court of law apart from in the party.
However, without mincing words, Mr. Victor Oye insists he remains the national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, having been elected at a convention of the party monitored by INEC in Awka in 2019.
The judgments of the court, the orders remain as they were on October 14, 2021. One, that the appeal by Judo Keke, because Judo Keke was the appellant, that appeal by Judo Keke, Edozie was not an appellant, that Judo Keke's appeal is hereby dismissed. Please, for goodness sake, when something is dismissed, it means there's no life in it again. It is dead and buried. It cannot resurrect. Then two, that the judgment of the court below, which is the Court of Appeal Kano, is hereby affirmed. And what was the judgment of the Court of Appeal Kano? The Court of Appeal Kano affirmed me as the national chairman of APGA, not in dispute.
Be a brother's keeper is the motto of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. But this battle for the #1 seat of the party appears to be turning that motto into a mirage.
Well, that tussle has lingered for some time now. I will be getting some learned insight for you just to get a better understanding of that. In the meantime, let's talk about some expectations now, because the governorship election has been concluded largely in 26 states of the Federation, and all eyes are now on May the 29th, when the handover of power and swearing-in ceremonies will take place in, well, states that are getting new governors, and it will be a second term for the states that the governors have gotten a renewal. But in the southeast, the governorship elections held in 3 out of the 5 states in the region, Enugu, Abia, and Ebonyi states. And the residents of the various states are looking forward to the new administration hitting the ground running, as they say, to tackle headlong the various challenges confronting the areas and fulfill their campaign promises. So let's x-ray some of the challenges in the states and the expectations of the people.
Infrastructure development to drive economic growth, social welfare for citizens, and the provision of adequate security for lives and property form part of the primary responsibilities of any government. These expectations influence the choice of candidates citizens supported and voted for in the just concluded governorship election. As winners have emerged and the people now know their incoming governors, the electorate can't wait for the May the 29th handover day to see the new administrations hit the ground running. In Enugu State, the coal city, the PDP governorship candidate Mr. Peter Mba emerged winner in a keenly contested election. However, one of the major challenges residents are expecting him to tackle headlong is a perennial water scarcity, which has been an issue for decades due to the topography of the state.
We have been having problem with water problem. Our tap has not been running. Please, I would like you people to come and look into our problem and solve it. We are suffering from water. Even in the midnight, we are walking. If I go back from here now, start looking for water.
Even though there is no significant improvement yet, the current administration had commenced comprehensive rehabilitation of the 9th Mile Crash program with solar-powered boreholes to ensure adequate supply of potable water from Oji River, Ajali and Iva water schemes to Enugu Metropolis. For the incoming administration of Mr. Mba, he promises that within 180 days in office, the perennial water challenge will become a thing of the past.
Let me pledge to you once again that I will serve you and dedicate every of the 1,460 days that make up this initial tenure of office to serving you. As we bring water to all homes in Enugu metropolis in 180 days of our being sworn in.
In neighboring Ebonyi State, the present Speaker of the State House of Assembly and APC governorship candidate, Mr. Francis Nwifuru, is the governor-elect. By the people's assessment, it appears the present administration has arguably done well in the area of physical infrastructure, but the people want the incoming government to focus on tackling the problem of insecurity, provision of quality and affordable health care, among others.
I would like this coming government to tackle the issue of water. Water is a necessity. Whether you have money or not, you should be able to drink water. So I would like him to tackle the issue, give us potable water. And you know, don't forget that Ebonyi was endemic. The issue of Guinea worm is still there. So that we should not go back to what the former president of America, Jimmy Carter, helped us to solve.
Number one area is peace and security.
According to the governor-elect, he will leave no stone unturned in addressing the challenges affecting the people of the state, even as he promised to continue on the good legacies of the present administration.
I'm proud to say that we will not deter in fulfilling our dear promises.
The incumbent governor of Abia State, Mr. Okezie Ikpeazu, failed to secure a successor from his fold as his party's candidate, Mr. Oke Ahiwe, lost to Dr. Alex Oti of the Labour Party. With the level of fanfare and jubilation that greeted the declaration of Dr. Alex Oti as governor, expectations are high. The people of Abia State want the incoming administration to look into the state's debt profile, address issues relating to salaries, accumulated pensions and arrears.
We need somebody who will look into the boss and now know that already the state is indebted. But to the tune of how much the state is indebted, for now, government is here to explain. So other things, the infrastructures, government said they have been able to, especially in the educational sector. The government came up with in bringing in the old boys into, seeing how you can restate the educational system.
The governor-elect Dr. Oti promises to ensure adequate and prompt payment of salaries and pensions and the provision of quality infrastructure.
By the end of this year, every outstanding salaries and pensions would have been defrayed.
Promises made, hopes are high. All eyes are now on the incoming administrations to change the narrative and deliver good governance to the people. And hopefully, after 4 years, it can be said that the mandate given to them was worth it.
Well, welcome back. Now, 2 months to the inauguration of a new government in Nigeria, the Vice President-elect, Senator Kashim Shettima, has paid a visit to former military President General Ibrahim Babangida and former head of state General Abdulsalam Abubakar. Well, sources close to the two at their uphill residence hinted that the visit is not unconnected with the incoming All Progressives Congress government to be led by the President-elect Bola Tinubu, seeking the support of the two elder statesmen. It was further gathered that the Vice President-elect's visit is also to consult and find a way out, or at least some sort of clarity on Department of State Services' alleged interim government plan by some political players in the country. Well, the last may not have been heard about the March 18th, 2023 governorship election in Akwa Ibom State. As a candidate of the APC in the election, Mr. Akanimo Dofia vows to challenge the outcome of the polls over alleged malpractices. Addressing a news conference in the nation's capital, Mr. Dofia says the election was characterized by violence and voter suppression, which negates the contest of ideas and intellect, values and principles expected in a free and fair election. He insists the majority of the results collated by APC agents clearly indicate that he won the election.
The
after a thoughtful review of the whole exercise, we have come to the obvious conclusion that the Akwa Ibom gubernatorial election was marred by massive infractions of the rule of law, breaches of the Electoral Act and Constitution, as well as more fundamental principles of justice, equity, and good conscience. My faith in our Constitution is whole, and as an avowed Democrat, I will not hesitate to accept and congratulate anybody who emerges in a free, fair, and credible election. Regrettably, however, the candidate that was declared winner by INEC emerged from a very flawed process, and I am willing to put the confidence I have in the judiciary to test by challenging the outcome of the elections in court.
So let's bring you more on one of our lead stories, the leadership tussle in the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. I think it's quite important to get a learned opinion on at least the judicial angle to all of this. And we're joined on the program this afternoon by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Kayode Adelola, joins us virtually. Thank you for joining us on the program. You know, when issues like this come up, it's always important to go to the right place for the right analysis, for the right information. And I mean, what's a better place to come than to Senior Advocate of Nigeria like yourself? So we've seen both men sticking to their guns. Mr. Victoria saying, well, there was no judgment by the Supreme Court on March the 24th. Mr. Edozie Njoku saying, well, there was a judgment, there was a pronouncement. In fact, it was a correction of a slip in the judgment of Justice Mary Odili from last year. Looking at all of this, the judiciary appears to be at the heart of all of this. So, what is your interpretation? Because there's also a recent Federal High Court judgment on Tuesday, I think, that pronounces Mr. Oye as the national chairman of APGA.
Thank you very much for having me. Let's go straight to the preliminary point. And the preliminary point is this. Judges or justices of the superior courts, the appellate courts, are human beings and they're prone to error. So in a situation where the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement or has delivered a judgment and an error has been brought to its notice, it has a duty to correct that error. Ordinarily, by the rules of court and the Supreme Court, no review of the judgment can be undertaken. Now, what we have here is a situation in which the Supreme Court, which is the highest court and the final arbiter, decided that Dr. Oye was national chairman of APGA. But that was an error. Indeed, it should have been Njoku. And a name could have been given one against the other, and that was exactly what happened. And so by the rules of court, I think it's Order 8, Rule 13, Rule 16 of the Supreme Court rules, a party can approach the Supreme Court to say, you made a mistake there. You intended to write Njoku rather than Oye, Dr. Oye, and that should be given a look and the error corrected. Now, why would an error be corrected? It would be corrected to give meaning and to give the intent of the judgment of the court, the necessary pronouncement that the court intended. Therefore, we cannot regard the sitting of the Supreme Court on the 24th of March as a different appeal between the parties. It was simply, in a manner of speaking, a carryover of the decision that had been delivered in 2022 by Honorable Justice Mary Odili. So the error was simply corrected to reflect what the court intended. And to that extent, that should be the position and the final say on that matter.
Okay, this case is quite interesting because naturally you approach the courts to seek redress, to solve, issues that seem irretractable when you've tried to deal with it personally. So you take it to the courts, and the courts try to resolve it, and the parties, whether you're happy with it or not, can move on. But these men have been at the courts for over a year now, and still with different pronouncements. The Supreme Court, the recent one from the Federal High Court, the tussle continues. I do not know if this is a matter of which is superior to the other, or if the cases are just parallel, because the Supreme Court seems to swing to the side of Mr. Njoku. The Federal High Court, who just gave a judgment, swings to the side of Mr. Oye. But does it look like this solution lies within the courts or within the party itself?
Now, let's first of all agree on one thing. When the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement on an issue, it can no longer be entertained by the Federal High Court, especially if the parties are the same, the issues are also the same. Then the principle of res judicata comes in, and the Federal High Court, with greatest respect to the judges there, cannot overrule the decision of the Supreme Court. Now, I think there's some mischief being undertaken here. These two gentlemen are represented by counsel. These counsel clearly, without a doubt in my mind, understand what exactly the decision of the court is, especially in a situation where the court has been approached again to clarify or to amend an error which was a slip, an accidental slip. Once that has been done, parties should simply ask their counsel for the interpretation of this, which I am no doubt, I'm quite sure that the counsel representing them understand what it means, and they ought to guide their clients accordingly. If the Supreme Court has now said on the 24th of March that the position is that Njoku is the chairman, that's the final say.
Well, I guess we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for those insights. I think it's important to always get those learned insights into these issues. We've been speaking with Mr. Kayode Adeluola, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for calling me.
Well, let's wind down with this one. More certificates of return are being issued, the latest from Kaduna State, with Senator Obasani receiving his. And we understand that also in Zamfara State, the governor-elect, Dr. Dauda Lawal, is also receiving theirs. Other states like Niger, Gombe, Ekiti, and Lagos are among those that have received their certificate, and the elected leaders have promised to serve the people and deliver the dividend of democracy.
Niger State Governor-elect Umaru Bago receives his certificate of return alongside his deputy and 27 assembly members at the State Independent Electoral Commission's office in Minna, the state capital. The governor-elect, who emerged winner under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, assures the people of his commitment to an all-inclusive administration.
Today, I acknowledge the weight of your expectations, which have now become an integral part of my consciousness. This serves as a constant reminder of our covenant I have made with you to serve as your governor, inshallah.
In neighboring Gombe State, the Independent National Electoral Commission presents certificate of return to Governor Muhammadu Yahaya, who's been re-elected for a second term, as well as 24 elected members of the State House of Assembly. Speaking at the occasion, the resident electoral commissioner in Gombe State, Umar Ibrahim, urges the governor-elect and the state lawmakers-elect to justify the confidence reposed on them.
I urge you to see your election as an indication of the confidence reposed in you by your constituents and a debt which should soon you must repay by delivering the dividends of democracy to them.
Let me as well assure the people, the entire people of Gombe State and indeed Nigeria, that this certificate that we received today is a license for us to go all out, to do more, so that we deliver on the mandate, we deliver on the needs of the people, and provide the dividends of democracy that is badly needed in this country.
In the southwest, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Ekiti State asked selected state assembly members to take the duties ahead seriously.
And I personally want to let you know, as Gary said, that the work for more is more work. I believe this certificate is for you to work harder, not only for the state, for the nation as a country.
And in Lagos, the governor-elect Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who will be ruling the affairs of the state for another 4 years, promises to continue to do more for the state in spite of the challenges that come with the job.
As we take the work to a new level of performance, we will complete all our ongoing projects that we've started and will ensure that new ones are funded, they are prioritized, and they will be delivered. This is our solemn promise to you all.
The next 4 years will determine if these promises are bankable.
And that's Lunchtime Politics for this afternoon. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikele. Goodbye.